This is Ronnie O'Neal. He is a double murder suspect from Riverdale, Florida.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, God damn it, I'm not.
All right, Mr. O'Neal, please stop using swearing language. It's not appropriate in a closing argument.
O'Neal was 29 when he fatally shot his then girlfriend, Kenyatta Barron. Following this, he then murdered his own daughter by striking her multiple times with a hatchet. She was only 9 years old. O'Neal also stabbed their 8-year-old son before pouring gasoline all over the house and setting it on fire. O'Neal was then arrested upon fleeing the burning house. Fortunately, the son was able to escape, but he was critically wounded and suffered from third-degree burns. The first 911 call was from the girlfriend, who was heard screaming before suddenly hanging up. 8 minutes later, another call came in from O'Neal.
911, what is your emergency?
Hey, I just been attacked by some white demons inside Kiki. Kiki, her name is Kiki, and she tried to kill me.
What's she at?
Huh?
After arrested, O'Neal was psychologically cleared to represent himself in court. During the trial, he was questioning his now 11-year-old son, who explained everything that happened.
It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
Did I hurt you that night of this incident?
Yes,
I did. And how did I hurt you?
you stabbed me.
O'Neal also accused the prosecution of fabricating evidence.
Because he's playing a fraudulent damn recording of me beating Kenyatta Barron. I did kill Kenyatta Barron.
After O'Neal was found guilty at his sentencing, the judge went on to say this was the worst case she has ever seen.
This is the worst case ever in my life, and I have seen some horrors.
He also stated that he was not sorry for what he did.
I am not sorry for something I didn't do, and I am not sorry for the things I did do.
O'Neal was given a total of 3 life sentences, plus 90 years without parole. For O'Neal's son, he was adopted by the detective that cared for him on the night of the murders. This is Randall Moore. He's facing 3 life sentences for crimes against his former wife, Therese Ann Lynch. Lynch had left her husband. This resulted in Moore kidnapping and killing his estranged wife. Officer Todd Rowland responded to the cries from the apartment, where he was then shot and wounded.
Okay, 303 Adams been hit, officer down. Suspect's armed with 20 shells. Advises nobody come to the door as he will shoot again.
Shortly after, Moore had a phone call with 911. Listen as he explains his motives.
I didn't want to do any of this.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, all I wanted was my son. I just wanted to see my 7-month-old baby. That's all I cared about.
Not long after, Moore surrendered, and for Officer Rowland, he underwent surgery. As the verdict is read out, Moore gives nothing but a slight nod.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of murder in the first degree. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of kidnapping in the first degree. Guilty of sexual abuse in the first degree. Guilty of attempt to commit murder.
At Moore's sentencing, Lynch's mother gives a victim impact statement.
To my daughter, Therese Ann Marie Lynch was evil, hateful, and despicable. You are now dead and rotting and repulsive to me.
Read the journal she wrote. She hated you.
Thank you, Judge.
She hated you.
Thank you.
You're a loser.
Moore refused to apologize for his actions, saying he had no remorse for what happened.
And I'll tell you point blank, I have not 1 ounce of remorse for Therese Ann's death. It could have all been prevented. All you had to do is let me see my kid. Now you're never going to see her again.
If anybody didn't know what a piece of work you were before you start talking, they know it now. The court doesn't allow me to punish you any more than I'm doing now. If I could, I would.
Moore was given a total of 3 life sentences, plus 25 years for the attempted murder. This is Keith Ferguson from Michigan. He was sent to court for 12 felony counts, including kidnapping and murder. Ferguson, who was 40 when he was engaged in a divorce argument with his wife Tiffany Ferguson, when he suddenly began to beat her, followed by fatally shooting her in front of their 4 children. He then hauled the children over to Tiffany's parents' house, where he then fatally shot his father-in-law. After fleeing the scene, Ferguson stormed a nearby house, taking the owner hostage and barricading himself inside that home. After a 7-hour standoff, Ferguson was later arrested.
He has already murdered multiple people and fled and has taken hostages.
During Ferguson's court appearance, his attitude and the remorse to the situation baffled everyone.
All right, Mr. Ferguson, can I get you to stand up there at the podium, please? All right, I need to have you raise your right hand for me. Okay, all right.
Pull me back my
Okay, stop.
At his sentencing, Tiffany's best friend gives a victim impact statement, saying she has always felt that Keith would hurt his wife.
I knew one day you would kill her. She would always reply, he loves his kids too much. He won't kill me. He loved them so much, he murdered their mother and grandfather.
When asked about his children, Ferguson never desired to see or speak to them ever again. The judge responded by saying,
"You may not meet the clinical definition of insanity, but there's clearly something fundamentally wrong with you."
Ferguson was given a life sentence without the possibility of parole.
See y'all in hell.